Central American country, that is Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Panama, and Caribbean islands, Great Antilles and Les Antilles. This make up North America. See, let us discuss some basic aspects. Like this is Greenland. In the northern part of North America, there are numerous islands. For example, this is Ellesmere Island. North of it is Arctic Ocean, from where a Labrador Current enters into Atlantic Ocean. From Arctic Ocean, because of polar easterlies and melting of ice, Labrador Current enters into Arctic Ocean. It moves through this narrow strait. This strait is what? Narrow water body separating two land areas and connecting two seas. Strait is a narrow water body that separates two land area and connects to sea. The narrow strait between Ellesmere and Greenland, this is known as Nares Strait. This water body lying over here is known as Baffin Bay. This is Baffin Island. This island is Baffin Island. This is known as Davis Strait, and this sea is known as Labrador Sea. So Labrador Current moves from Arctic Ocean through Nares Strait, through Baffin Bay, through Davis Strait, and into Labrador Sea, where to the east of Grand Bank, east of Newfoundland, there's a Grand Bank. This is Newfoundland. At Grand Bank, it merges with Gulf Stream, which entirely modifies the nature of warm Gulf Stream. Now, let us see about these islands. This is Ellesmere Island. These group of islands are known as These group of islands are known as Queen Elizabeth group of islands. It is important. Why? Because the North Magnetic Pole, these islands are known as Queen Elizabeth group of island. Here, the North Magnetic Pole of the Earth is located. North Magnetic Pole, and its location is 78th north latitude and 103 west longitude. North Magnetic Pole is located in Queen Elizabeth group of island, then Banks Island, Victoria Island, Boothia Peninsula, Baffin Island. Not so important. You need not remember these names. So there's no need to remember all these names. Ellesmere Island is important. And then this is Hudson Bay, which is connected to Labrador Sea by way of Hudson Strait. So this is all about this surrounding islands. Now let us start with geological evolution of North America. How this North American continent has come into existence. These land masses, these lakes, these mountains. Open up the map of North America. If you have, if you see the map of North America, you will find Canadian Shield in the eastern side. This is Canadian Shield. Western Mountain Range, which is commonly known as Rockies Mountain in the west, Appalachian Mountain in the east, and interior plains in between. And thereafter you will find these lakes. Let us see how all this have come into existence. So if you have opened up your atlas, you can see this Canadian Shield, Western Mountain Range, also known as Rockies Mountain, Appalachian Mountain, interior plains, and these lakes. Now, if you see these lakes, there are various freshwater lakes. These all are freshwater lakes and all are interconnected with each other. See, this is these are all are lakes. If we join these lakes by a line, then this area lying north and east of these lakes, this region is known as Canadian Shield. I told you the other day that shield massif or cratons is used for those land areas which got formed very early. Initially, Earth was covered with water. Subsequently, land areas have come into existence in the form of volcanic arc, and subsequently in the form of fold mountains. They have got weathered and eroded into plains. So this region lying east, and these all are freshwater lakes. This region lying to the east and north of these freshwater lakes is known as Canadian Shield. These freshwater lakes are very important. This is Great Bear Lake, Great Slave Lake, Lake Athabasca. It lies on the border of Alberta and Saskatchewan province of Canada. Lake Winnipeg in Manitoba province. This is Lake Superior. This lake, Michigan, this lake lies entirely in USA. Otherwise, border of USA and Canada runs through the middle of these lakes. This is Lake Michigan. This lake is Lake Huron. This is Lake Erie, and this is Lake Ontario. We'll discuss them. We'll discuss because very important cities are located on these lakes. So this Great Bear Lake, Great Slave Lake, Athabasca Lake, Winnipeg Lake, Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, Ontario. These are the lakes to the north and east, on the eastern side and northern side. This lie there. Here lies the Canadian Shield, which is the oldest, one of the oldest landmass, 4 billion years old. The age of Earth is 4.5 billion. So soon it is one of the earliest landforms. It is 4 billion years old. It is most stable part of North America. It has not undergone upheaval. This Canadian Shield is made up of hard crystalline rocks. There are three types of rocks: sedimentary rocks, crystalline rocks, and metamorphic rocks. Crystalline rocks are basically igneous rocks. Those rocks which are the result of cooling and solidification of magma. They have crystals, and the size of crystals in these rocks depend upon the rate of cooling. If the rock cools, igneous magma cools very fast, the crystals are very small, and if it cools slowly, crystals are large. So this means this landmass is made up of entirely volcanic eruption. That is, it is made up of hard crystalline rocks, and it is immensely rich in metallic minerals. Very rich. Iron, copper, gold, silver, cobalt, nickel, found in abundance. Canada is very rich minerally. It is very rich in metallic minerals, and this Canadian Shield has been weathered and eroded and reduced to peneplain. It is low-lying surface. It is a low-lying surface which got formed 4 billion years ago. So 4 billion years ago, the North America was only this much. This much was North America, north of it. Now, if you have taken down this, let us now the second physiographic feature that got formed in North America was Appalachian Mountain. After this Canadian Shield, in the eastern part of USA, or eastern part of USA and Canada, there was a huge water body known as geosyncline. That was 500 million years ago. This geosyncline, the location was not this. Location was somewhere else because these continents have been drifting. This geosyncline was in existence 500 million years ago, and it continued to receive sediments from the neighboring land masses. And about 250 million years ago, those sediments got squeezed and folded into fold mountain. That is, this Appalachian mountains came into existence. Appalachian, this geosyncline is known as Appalachian geosyncline, the water body from where the Appalachian mountains have got squeezed and folded. The sediment got deposited in this water body, and about 250 million years ago, this sediment got squeezed and folded in the form of fold mountain, known as Appalachian mountains. So these mountains got formed 250 million years ago. Rest was water. Again, on the western side, we call it Rockies Mountain, but it is not correct to call them Rockies Mountain, because it is a western mountain system comprising of numerous mountains. Here, this western mountain system that we usually call Rockies, although Rocky is just simply one of the range of western mountain system. So this western mountain system was also, here also a water body was there, known as geosyncline. That water body was receiving sediment, and those sediment got squeezed and folded into fold mountain about 70 million years ago. So 70 million years ago, there were 3 physiographic features in North America: Canadian Shield, Appalachian Mountain, and Western Mountain System. It is better to call it Western Mountain System instead of Rockies Mountain. Now, the intervening area was water body. This was all water. The intervening area was all sea. It was sea filled with water. Now, the rivers draining Western Mountain System deposited sediment in this intervening water body. Rivers draining Canadian Shield and rivers draining Appalachian continue to deposit sediment in this intervening water body. This continuous deposition of sediment led to the evolution of plain, and this plain is known as interior plains of North America. They got formed 1.2 million years ago. Now these interior plains are further divided into 2 parts. Along 100-degree longitude, we divide into 2 parts. The western part of interior plain, this western part is known as Great Plains. We'll discuss. And the eastern part, which is more fertile, is known as Central Plains. Eastern part, which is more fertile, is known as Central Plains. So this is how 4 billion years ago Canadian Shield got formed. 250 million years ago Appalachian Mountains came into existence. 70 million years ago Western Mountain System came into existence. And rivers draining these land masses, intervening area was sea. The rivers deposited sediment. They were draining from Canadian Shield, Western Mountain, Appalachian, and this gradual sedimentation led to the filling up of sea. And this interior plains came into existence. The western half of interior plain is high. It is known as Great Plains, and the eastern part of interior plain is more fertile, low-lying, known as Central Plains. Now these plains and North American landmass came into existence. 4 billion years, 250 million years, 70 million years, 1.2 million years. Canadian Shield, this is Appalachian Mountain, this is Western Mountain System, and this is interior plains. Now let us see the last physiographic feature, that these lakes came into existence in Pleistocene period, most recent. These lakes, freshwater lakes, have come into existence during the last ice age, that is 10,000 years ago. We are living in Holocene period. Before this it was Pleistocene. In Pleistocene period, we had 4 ice ages. First ice age was Gunj, followed by interglacial period. Then second ice age was Mindel, followed by interglacial period. Third ice age was Riss, followed by interglacial period. Fourth ice age was Worm. That occurred 10,000 years ago. And after worm, we are living in this present interglacial period. That is when the warming is a natural phenomena. First glacial period, second glacial period, third glacial period, fourth glacial period. These four glacial periods have occurred in Pleistocene. And after every glacial period, there is rise in temperature, that is known as interglacial period. We are living in the interglacial period after worm. In this last ice age, which happened to happen 10,000 years ago, temperature of the world lowered. In every ice age, temperature gets lowered, and large part of Earth gets covered with ice. If you see, during the last ice age, worm, if you connect Seattle to St. Louis to New York, up till here, this entire land was covered with ice. During the last ice age, huge ice sheets covered this entire land area up to this. This is the southernmost limit of glaciation during last ice age. Thick cover of ice got formed, and under the weight of this ice, this rock of the Canadian Shield got crushed. They got crushed. They got eroded. As a result, numerous depressions got formed. Why? Because the underlying rocks got crushed under the weight of ice. That means the ice scooped out numerous shallow depressions. Under the weight of ice, numerous depressions got formed. The ice scooped out numerous shallow hollows, known as these numerous hollows. And when the ice age came to an end, the ice melted, and the meltwater carried the crushed debris of the rock towards south. When those depressions got formed under the weight of the ice, and when the ice age came to an end, the ice melted, and the meltwater of the ice carried the crushed debris from those depressions, and those depressions got formed with water bodies. And this debris was deposited in the northern part of Central Plain. Under the weight of the ice, the underlying rocks of Canadian Shield got crushed. As a result, depressions got formed. When the ice melted, the meltwater removed the debris, and the depressions got filled with water bodies. And that debris was moved southward and deposited in the northern part of Central Plain. From this glacial till, the fine wind-blown sediments got deposited further to the south, as a result of which the fertile Central Plains, one of the most fertile part of the world, came into existence. The fertile Central Plains are covered by loess. What is loess? Loess is a soil that is formed by wind-blown particles. This glacial till deposited in the southern side, the wind-blown fine particles got deposited in the Central Plain, which account for the fertility of Central Plains. Now, as that crushed debris was removed, these depressions got filled with water bodies, and these freshwater lakes came into existence, which are interconnected with each other. And this is how the present evolution of present geography of North America came into existence. So the last feature that got formed was 10,000 years ago, the freshwater lakes. Now, if you see Canadian Shield, this is Canadian Shield, this is Hudson Bay. Canadian Shield is further subdivided into two categories, that is Hudson Bay lowland, and second part is Laurentian upland. This low-lying area surrounding Hudson Bay, this is known as Hudson Bay lowland. Hudson Bay lowland is basically swampy, marshy, and ill-drained region, full of swamps and marshes. The rivers falling into this, like Nelson River, Albany River, all these rivers make waterfall, and these waterfalls can be tapped for generating hydroelectricity. The remaining part of Canadian Shield, that is made up of hard crystalline rock, The remaining part is known as Laurentian upland. The remaining part is known as Laurentian upland. It is this part that is made up of hard crystalline rocks rich in metallic minerals, and it is most stable and the oldest landmass. This Hudson Bay lowland is a low-lying area surrounding Hudson Bay where the rivers fall, make waterfall, where the hydroelectricity can be tapped, and these are swampy and marshy, bog soils, swampy and marshy areas with ill-drained areas. So it is distinct from Laurentian upland. So Canadian Shield is having two parts. It is this Laurentian upland that is having crystalline rocks rich in metallic minerals, which is the most stable part. Now, similarly, the Western mountain system, when you see, this Western mountain system is not a single range. Rather, it is made up of number of ranges, and these ranges are enclosing plateaus within them. This Western mountain system, Rockies Mountain is a particular range of Western mountain system. This Western mountain system comprises of several ranges running north to south, and these ranges are enclosing plateaus, and these plateaus confined between the ranges are very dry and arid because they are bounded by mountains on both the sides. There is no chance of rainfall. So if you see in north, in Alaska, here you will find Brooks Range, and here you will find Alaskan Range. In between, Yukon Plateau. See, this plateau in northern part, Brooks, northern part, it's narrow. It broadens in USA and again narrows down in Mexico, this Western mountain system. This Yukon Plateau in Alaska is found between Brooks Range and Alaskan Range. Further south in Canada, between Coastal Range in the west and Selkirk Range in the east. In Canada, in British Columbia especially. British Columbia is the western province of Canada. Here, the plateau is known as Fraser Plateau. Fraser Plateau. It lies between Selkirk Range in the east and Coastal Range in the west. Fraser Plateau. Further south, you see here there is a range in USA, Bitter Root Range. It is the western terminus of western edge of Rockies Mountain. Bitter Root Range is simply a western edge of Rockies Mountain, and in the east there is Cascade Range. Cascade. This is Cascade Range. In between there is a plateau known as Columbia Plateau, made up of basaltic lava, black soil. Columbia Plateau lies between Bitterroot Range, that is the western edge of Rockies Mountain, and Sierra Nevada. Further south, here it is a great basin, that is Great American Desert, highly faulted and faulted topography, where rivers dry inland, Great Basin or Great American Desert. Great Salt Lake of where various saline lakes are located. Among them, Salt Lake is the largest. Here, Great Basin or Great American Desert is located where rivers flow inland and dry inside. Numerous saline lakes are there. It is faulted topography. South of this lies Colorado Plateau. South of this lies Colorado Plateau. This plateau is bounded by western edge of Rocky Mountain in east, and in west it is bounded by Sierra Nevada. Mountain. Further south, if you enter into Mexico, this is Mexican Plateau. In the east, it is bounded by Sierra Nevada Oriental. In the west, it is bounded by Sierra Nevada occidental. So what we see, these other ranges are also there. If you see Cascade Range, then further west coastal range is also there, we'll discuss. What we see, the western mountain system encloses several plateaus which are very arid and dry because they are bounded by mountains on both the sides. Now here I must explain you a very important concept. Throughout the world, it is found that oil fields are always found on the flanks of fold mountain, on the margins of fold mountain. See here, along Rockies, if you see along western mountain system, you see Mackenzie oil field is there, oil field of Alberta. Here on the west, this Californian oil field, Los Angeles. In the east, Texas, Oklahoma oil field. Take the case of oil fields in Assam on the southern flanks of Himalayas, oil fields in Gujarat on the east, on the flanks of Aravallis. Aravallis at one point of time used to extend from Delhi to Lakshadweep. Now they have been weathered and eroded. So all over the world, oil fields are always found on the flanks of fold mountain. Now let us slightly discuss Appalachian Mountain. Appalachian Mountain are found in the eastern part. In the eastern part, if you see, this is eastern part of USA, they extend from Alabama to, it is not a single mountain, it also consists of various parts. It extends from Alabama in this fashion, running parallel to Quebec. In Quebec, they become transverse to the coast. They become perpendicular to the coast. From Alabama to Quebec, in Quebec they become transverse to the coast. See, for the length they are running parallel to the coast, but at Quebec they become transverse or perpendicular to the coast. So Appalachian Mountains extend from Alabama to Quebec. Quebec is a province of Canada, eastern province of Canada. Now these mountains are very old, 250 million years old, and they are having various segments. Like in the eastern part of these mountains, there is a plateau known as Piedmont Plateau, and this extends Piedmont Plateau. The eastern part is Piedmont Plateau. From where the rivers descends onto the plains, east coastal plain. Basically, east coastal plain is the result of deposition of sediment brought by the rivers draining the eastern slopes of Appalachian. Rivers draining the eastern slope of Appalachian deposited the sediment. That is how the east coastal plain came into existence. Now the eastern part of Appalachian is a plateau known as Piedmont Plateau, eastern part of Appalachian, from where the rivers fall onto the east coastal plain. East coastal plain. Now what happened? These rivers made waterfall, and this waterfall was tapped for generating hydroelectricity. As a result of hydroelectricity, availability of electricity, numerous manufacturing centers came into existence along the edge of Piedmont Plateau, and those cities are known as fall line cities. Fall line cities. Now here already eastern coast of USA was very important. Numerous ships transport, import export was being done. So loading and unloading. These coastal cities were already having the advantage of imports and export. Further availability of hydroelectricity because of rivers debouching from Piedmont Plateau to east coastal plain provided further impetus. So numerous cities came into existence, manufacturing cities known as fall line cities. Like you can see in north, fall line cities, Trenton, Wilmington, we'll discuss them, Philadelphia. After Trenton, it is Philadelphia. Philadelphia is in New Pennsylvania. Trenton basically lies north of it in basically Delaware. Wilmington is in Delaware, Trenton, and then Philadelphia. Then this Baltimore. Maryland, Washington DC, also in Maryland. Then this is Columbia, Augusta, then other cities also. The Richmond is also there. Before Columbia, it is Richmond, in basically Virginia, Columbia in South Carolina, Augusta in Georgia. These are 4-line cities. Now, to the west of Piedmont Plateau lies Blue Ridge. Blue Ridge is a part of Appalachian Mountain. It lies to the west of Piedmont Plateau, Blue Ridge. And here the highest peak of Appalachian Mountain is located. On Blue Ridge, the highest peak of Appalachian Mountain is located. That is known as Mount Mitchell. It's not very high because Appalachian are old mountains. Hardly the height of Mount Mitchell exceeds 3,000 meters. So Mount Mitchell on Blue Ridge is the highest peak of Appalachian. To the west, you find Great Smoky Mountains. Great Smoky Mountains. Further west, Appalachians take the form of ridge and valley topography. Further west, they are in the form of ridge and valley topography. Further west, here you find Cumberland Plateau in south, and Allegheny Mountain in north. Allegheny Mountain in north. It is below Cumberland Plateau and Allegheny Mountain that the world's largest deposits of best quality anthracite coal is found. It is here. If you see the states, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. These are the states along Cumberland Plateau and Allegheny Mountain where the world's largest deposits of best quality anthracite coal is found. And if you see the states, it is Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Pennsylvania. Oil is also found here, but not in large amount. So this was about the basic description of North America. We discussed the important islands located over here, straits, and how this North America geologically got formed by Canadian Shield, Appalachian Mountain, Western Mountain, interior plains, Great Lakes, these freshwater lakes. And then we discussed how basically this parts of Western Mountain System, Appalachian. Now let us come on to Canada. Let us start this country, Canada. Canada. If you see, the border of USA and Canada almost runs along 49th parallel. 49th parallel. That is 49th north latitude. If you see, Canada is having few union territories like Yukon, Northwest Territory, Nunavut. Nunavut includes all these islands. Nunavut was created in 1999 to fulfill the demands of Eskimos. Otherwise, it was Yukon and Northwest Territory. In 1999, Nunavut was carved out. These islands come under Nunavut. These three are union territories. These three are UTs, Union Territories. Now, they account for 30% area of Canada. This Yukon, Northwest Territory, Nunavut, and all these islands are part of Nunavut. This account for, that is this much. This is Northwest Territory. This accounts for 30% area, and basically it is very sparsely populated. It is very sparsely populated because population density is very less. The population density is very less. Ab here what happens ki you will find either tribe Eskimos or Red Indians, or you will find mining settlements. Population is very sparse in this region. It is very sparsely populated. It's extremely cold. In fact, if you leave the southern part of mainland, if you leave the southern part of Yukon, Northwest Territory, Nunavut, then this entire region is having tundra climate. That is temperatures above freezing point only for 4 months. There are only 4 months. For 8 months in a year, temperature is below freezing point. As you keep on moving northward, in fact, the month having temperature above 10 will go on decreasing. In tundra, pure tundra, basically, if beyond this, there's no month having temperature above 10 degree. The definition of tundra is tundra climate. Temperature the warmest month temperature should be below 10 degrees centigrade. So in the southern part of mainland, Yukon, Northwest Territory, Nunavut, here you have taiga climate, coniferous trees. In northern part, tundra climate. In northern part, in fact, no month temperature is above 10 degree. It's extremely cold. So such large area, so sparsely populated, very underdeveloped. So it is not viable to carve them provinces. It is under federal control. These are UTs because it is neither sufficiently populated nor it is developed to qualify as a province. So these three regions, Yukon, Northwest Territory, Nunavut, are under federal control, under the central government. And what we see here, mostly Red Indians and Eskimos lives, whose major economic activity is hunting, gathering and fishing. These islands located to the north, are even more sparsely populated. Here basically only few Eskimos are found who are engaged in seal meat or fishing during summers, and winters either they hibernate or they dug holes in ice to catch fish. Here in the northern part, cannibalism among Eskimos is very common. Here basically numerous herds of caribous are found, and Eskimos in this part eat caribous. Otherwise, these caribous, these are herbivores, an integral part of this biome. These are, when they are trained, they are known as reindeers. They are used for sledge, moving sledge. Here basically when the grandparents become old, they leave the house in winters and they take off their clothes, and their grandchildren follow them, and as the old people die, they are eaten by their grandchildren. Cannibalism, because for want of food, either people go into hibernation, you see size of the animals goes on increasing as we move northward, because supply of food is restricted to summer months. In winters they have to hibernate, they have to depend upon the fat that they have accumulated. So here in the northern part, fishing, seal meat or fishing is done during summers, and winters either they hibernate or they dug holes in ice and go for fishing. Now here numerous mining settlements are there. If you see, mining is important. If you see, this is North Magnetic Pole. 120 kilometers south of North Magnetic Pole, there's the northernmost mine, Polaris. World's northernmost mine is located here in basically Nunavut. It is 120 kilometers south of North Magnetic Pole. It is a mine of lead and zinc. It is highly automated. So Polaris mine is located over here, which is the world's most northerly located mine. It is highly automated. And apart from this, some other mining settlements are there here, like there's a settlement, copper mine in Nunavut, where copper mining is done. Copper mining. Again, it is Great Bear Lake. To the north of Great Bear Lake, there is a city, Port Radium. Here mining of radium and uranium is done. See, Canada is having the third largest reserves of uranium. First largest reserves are found in Australia, then Kazakhstan, and third in Canada. Although Canada is second largest producer of uranium. This Port Radium mine is very important. And then this is Great Bear Lake, this is Great Slave Lake. At the northern part of Great Slave Lake, there is a city, Yellowknife. That is the capital of Northwest Territory. And it is the largest settlement in Northern Territory. Yellowknife. It is famous for gold mining. Gold mining. Now, if you see the map, you will find there's a Mackenzie Mountain running along the border of Yukon and Northwest Territory. Mackenzie Mountain. On the eastern side in Northwest Territory, there's a river, Mackenzie River. There's a river known by same name, Mackenzie River. This river has oil wells, तेल के कुएं हैं इसके अंदर, known as Norman wells, very famous. It has oil fields in this river basin. There are oil wells known as Norman, N-O-R-M-E-N, Norman wells. And Yukon province itself, two huge gold mines are there. Two huge gold mines. These two. Klondike and El Dorado. These are the two huge gold mines in Yukon province. And the highest peak of Canada, Mount Logan, is also here. Mount Logan is also located in Yukon province. Now, if you see this northern part of this mainland and these islands are having tundra climate, lichen and mosses happen to be the sole vegetation on which these caribous have to survive, because tundra lies beyond tree line. That is, no month temperature is above 10, and such isotherm is known as tree line. In tundra region, there is no trees, only lichens and mosses are there. So these animals have to subsist on them. But in the southern part of mainland, you have coniferous trees. So lumbering and mining is more important. So the mining settlements are more. Lumberjacks are there who go over there. But northern part is exclusively for Red Indians and Eskimos and few mining settlements that we have discussed. Now let us come on to next. This was the Union Territory. These three provinces accounted for UTs because they are sparsely populated. Now, if you see the provinces of Canada, from west you can see British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island. These are the provinces. British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island. These are the 9 provinces. 10th, Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia. This is the 5th. This is the 5th province, Nova Scotia. It is not properly given over here. Yeah. This is British Columbia. This is British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario. If you see all the lakes in the south, Superior, Huron, Erie, Ontario, they are bordered with Ontario province. Quebec. After Quebec, this is New Brunswick. New Brunswick. This is Newfoundland. And this part on the mainland is known as coast of Labrador. It is a part of Newfoundland Island. This is known as coast of Labrador, which is a part of Newfoundland province. New Brunswick, this is Prince Edward Island, and this is known as Nova Scotia. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are the 10 provinces of Canada that we are going to discuss one by one. Now, let us take a break of 5 minutes, or 2 minutes, sorry, just for water. Now, let us be back. So, we will discuss these provinces one by one. Now, see, this is British Columbia. If you see the western coast of British Columbia, it is highly fjord, just like Norway. The coast of British Columbia is highly indented fjord because of glaciation. Here again, just like Norway, it receives westerlies, heavy rainfall. Just like Norway, it is highly mountainous. It has numerous similarity because of rainfall throughout the year. Moderating impact of maritime climate is there. It does not suffer from extremes. British Columbia is just like Norway. British Columbia also have fjord coast. That is because of glaciation. Just like Norway, it receives continuous westerlies throughout the year, so rainfall throughout the year, which keeps its climate moderate. Just like Norway, it is hilly. Agriculture is not an important activity. So, British Columbia is a province of Canada. It has British type climate or marine west coast. British Columbia. It has fjord coast, British type, or you can say marine west coast type or West European type climate. See, there's an island over here known as Vancouver Island. This island is known as Vancouver Island, where the capital of British Columbia, that is Victoria, is located. Capital of British Columbia. This island is in the north. It is separated from mainland Canada. In west also it is separated. This strait that separates this Vancouver Island from USA is known as Juan de Fuca Strait, and this narrow water body which separates this Vancouver Island from British Columbia is known as Queen Charlotte Strait, or now it is known as Queen Charlotte Strait. Previously it was known as Straits of San Juan, Straits of San Georgia, Straits of Georgia, sorry, Straits of Georgia. Now its name has got changed. This Vancouver Island is separated from the mainland of USA by way of Juan de Fuca Strait, right? And it is separated from British Columbia by way of Queen Charlotte Strait. Previously it was known as Straits of Georgia. Now, if you see the economic significance, first, British Columbia in the west and Ontario and Quebec in the east are the chief supplier of coniferous or spruce timber. Lumbering is most important over here. The northern part of Canada is beyond reach. Lumbering is not so important here over here in the northern part because it is located in remote areas. Most important lumbering provinces are Ontario and Quebec, where spruce is found. Therefore, Canada is the largest producer of newsprint in the world. And in the west, in British Columbia, here coniferous spruce tree is found. So, lumbering is very important over here. First, lumbering. Second, British Columbia is second most important in production of natural gas. First is of course Alberta, which account for 75% of total oil and gas, which makes Canada the world's third largest reserves of oil. Largest reserve of oil are found in Venezuela, 20%. Second largest reserves are found in Saudi Arabia, 18% of the world. And third largest reserves are found in Canada. And 75% of it is found in Alberta. So British Columbia is having second largest reserves of natural gas. And third, fishing is very important. Here, fishing is far more important than agriculture, because land is basically hilly, not suitable for agriculture. Fishing is very important. Now, because of hilly terrain and copious rainfall, it is rich in hydroelectricity production, hydroelectric power. Obviously, as we discussed in Norway, it was hilly, receiving rainfall throughout the year. Cheap hydroelectricity was there. Therefore, aluminium smelting was an important activity. We discussed about Odda and Arendal were the two aluminum smelting plants. Here also, aluminum smelting is important because of hilly terrain and same westerlies causing rainfall throughout the year. Hydroelectricity is cheap. Kitimat scheme, world famous for aluminum smelting, is located in British Columbia. Fifth, in the southern part of British Columbia, sheltered valleys are there. Sheltered valleys in the southern part of British Columbia, where fruit orchards are found, especially apple and cherries. And these fruit orchards continue in USA, in northern part of basically Washington province here, then that is Puget Sound lowland, and then northern part of Oregon, William T. Valley. This fruit cultivation remains important even in California Valley, isn't it? So this fruit cultivation that starts from the southern part of British Columbia in the sheltered valleys, it continues in northern USA, in Puget Sound lowland, then Oregon province, William T. Valley, then further California, San Joaquin Valley, everywhere fruit farming is important. So British Columbia is basically, it was a separate country. British Columbia was a separate country. It acceded to the demand of Canada that yes, British Columbia said that we are ready to become a part of Canada if we are integrated with the rest of the Canada by way of rail line. Because British Columbia is separated from Canada because huge western mountain system is there and connectivity is not there. So British Columbia agreed to be a part of Canada on the condition. You see, Canada is a country which is between federation and confederation. USA is a federation and there is a confederation where the countries have the right to secede. Canada is not a confederation, but it's also not rigid federation. Here separatist tendencies are there. Quebec wants separation from Canada because it is dominated by French population, although this business is held by English. Quebec wants separation to preserve the French cultural heritage. Alberta wants separation because it was the poorest state in British this Canada. With the discovery of oil, this oil resources were taken over by central federal government. So they started demanding separation, that we should be given the fruits of these oil reserves. Later on, these demands disappeared when they were allocated additional revenue. So here British Columbia became a part of Canada only on the condition when it is well integrated with Canada. As a result, what we see, there are 3 railway lines that connect British Columbia with the rest of the Canada. See, in British Columbia, this island is Vancouver, and there's a principal city that is also known as Vancouver on the mainland. One railway line is Canadian Pacific Railway that connects Vancouver in British Columbia to St. John in New Brunswick. This is New Brunswick and this is St. John. This is New Brunswick. This is St. John. Canadian Pacific Railway connects Vancouver to St. John. You must remember there is also a St. John in Newfoundland, which is the capital of Newfoundland. This St. John is different. This is the St. John in New Brunswick. Second railway line is north of it, Canadian National Railway. there's a place, Prince Rupert. So one branch of Canadian National Railway comes from Prince Rupert and one from Vancouver. Both join and cross over the Western Mountain System. And this railway line both meet over here, both meet at Winnipeg and then again separate. And this railway line extends up to Halifax. Canadian National Railway, it connects Vancouver and Prince Rupert in the west to Halifax in Nova Scotia province. Now, this first one, Canadian Pacific Railway, they have carved out a pass. There's a pass in the basically Selkirk Range. There's a pass through which it passes. It is known as Kickling Horse Pass. Canadian Pacific Railway that connects Vancouver to St. John. It passes through a pass in Selkirk Range that is known as Kickling Horse Pass. Canadian National Railway also passes through a pass in Selkirk Range, and this pass is known as Yellowhead Pass. There's a branch of Canadian Pacific Railway which connects Vancouver to Lethbridge in Alberta. In Alberta, there's a town, Lethbridge. It is a branch line of Canadian Pacific Railway. It connects Vancouver to Lethbridge, and it passes through Crow's Nest Pass in Selkirk Range. Crow's Nest is also famous for coal deposits. There's a pass. So these three passes, and Columbia has been well integrated with the rest of the Canada, and it is a part of Canada now, British Columbia. Now, British Columbia, if you see, Vancouver is the chief city. Victoria is the capital. Victoria also happens to be the largest port, largest naval port on the Pacific coast of Canada. Victoria is the largest naval port on Pacific coast, largest naval port of Canada on the Pacific coast, Victoria. Vancouver is the largest city, principal city of British Columbia. It almost accounts for 50% population of Vancouver Island and Vancouver City, 50% population. Now, further east, these three provinces, Alberta, Saskatchewan and Manitoba, these three provinces are known as Prairie Provinces of Canada. They are devoted to wheat farming, although pulses are also grown. Now here, these three provinces are known as Prairie Provinces. Now on the west lies the Rockies Mountain, so there is no chance of rainfall. Here rainfall occurs from east to west, and rainfall decreases as we move towards west. So Manitoba is having tall grass prairies, Saskatchewan is having middle grass prairies, and Alberta is having short grass prairies. Alberta is dry, the western province, Alberta. Alberta being located on the western side, by the time maritime winds, this moisture bearing winds reach Alberta, they are already emancipated of moisture. They are devoid of moisture. So Alberta is dry. And because of interior location, it's very cold. Being dry and cold, wheat is not an important commodity. Wheat is grown only in best parts. Otherwise, here the main crop is oat and barley and cattle grazing. Very poor state at one point of time, because the agriculture was not developed because of less rainfall, extreme climate, very cold basically. So here people were poor, dejected, dukhi rehte the, because Agriculturally, it was very cold, so oat and barley were grown. Wheat was confined to very small areas. Cattle grazing was there. But इनकी किस्मत चमकी, just like anything. And huge discovery of oil was made. Near Edmonton, huge oil was found in Leduc and Redwater. Huge discovery of oil. And south of Edmonton, there's a place, Calgary, just above Lethbridge. Here again, huge oil deposits were discovered in Turner Valley. So large was the discovery that Canadian government got perplexed what to do with this oil. Huge discovery of oil in Leduc and Redwater oil wells near Edmonton and Turner Valley in Calgary. So they decided to build the world's largest pipeline. All this oil from here, because there was no domestic demand. Alberta was very poor. So they built the world's largest oil pipeline extending from Edmonton. Then you see to the south of Huron Lake. See, if you see Huron Lake, lakes are like this. Superior, Huron, Michigan, and then Ayr, and then Ontario. The border of USA and Canada runs through the middle of these lakes. Only Michigan lies entirely in USA. So this is Superior Lake, this is Huron Lake. To the south of Huron, there's a place, Sarnia. This lies close to the manufacturing centers of USA. So Canada thought this oil should be taken to such areas where the demand is high, because it is the border with USA, and here large manufacturing centers like Detroit is located, basically Cleveland is there, Buffalo is there, Toledo is there, Akron is there. These are the manufacturing centers, Flint, Pontiac, these are the manufacturing centers of USA. It thought we must take this oil to those areas where market demand is high. So it constructed the world's largest pipeline of the time, and to the south of Huron, this is Huron Lake in Canada, it established the world's largest refinery of the time. So the market, after refining, it started selling. Now the Alberta people of this area found themselves to be, they were cheated. They said this all discovery has been taken in our state, we must get the large part of the revenue. They started demanding separation from Canada over the revenues of oil. Later on, to pacify their demand, oil fields, oil refineries were located over here, and development of Alberta took place. And now Alberta is one of the leading provinces in terms of per capita income. Second is Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is the most rural province of Canada. 20% population is rural in Saskatchewan. It is the chief wheat growing region. In fact, in India, 95% of total pulses imported by India comes from Saskatchewan. We don't import wheat, but Saskatchewan, apart from wheat, it also grows pulses. Saskatchewan is the most important prairie province. Here, agriculture is most important. See, Edmonton, like this capital, Edmonton basically is famous for oil. It is famous for winter sports, isn't it? Like Saskatchewan, this entirely it is very famous for wheat cultivation, pulse cultivation, agriculture. Its capital, Regina, is a large grain market. Regina is a large grain market. In north, you have Lake Athabasca shared between Saskatchewan and Alberta. North of this lake, there is a city, Uranium City, famous for mining uranium. I told you Port Radium north of Great Bear Lake and Uranium City north of Lake Athabasca. This makes Canada the largest, second largest producer of uranium, and having third largest reserves. Here there is a place, Flin Flon, in Saskatchewan. There is a place, Flin Flon, famous for copper mining. Further to the east is the third prairie province, that is Manitoba. Here also agriculture is important, and basically the capital of Manitoba is the largest settlement in all three prairie provinces, that is Winnipeg is the capital. It is world now known for fur trade. Otherwise, Manitoba is famous for agricultural activities. It is at Winnipeg that both Canadian Pacific Railway and Canadian National Railway both converge. Now, here there's a place northwest of Manitoba, Lake District. Lake District, famous for copper and cobalt. Manitoba. Otherwise, Manitoba is mostly known as Prairie Province, famous for agricultural production. The most important centers of agriculture, industry and population concentration are located in Ontario and Quebec. These two provinces form the core of Canada. These are the two most important provinces which are having maximum population, bulk of industrial production and bulk of agricultural production. So you remember till date. Now here, tomorrow we'll start with these provinces because it will become very bulky if I discuss here, because Ontario and Quebec is having lot of all major cities. You see, Ontario is having sharing its border. Ontario province shares border with all the lakes, Superior, Huron, Eyre, Ontario, and most of the cities are located over here, and here I have to make separate maps. So we'll continue tomorrow. Just revise this today. It's not that you have to remember each and everything, but you must be aware, you must be acquainted with the things, because if a article is there regarding current affairs, and if you know the location of the place, it becomes very easy to remember it. In international relations, if you know the exact location, I'll discuss the issue of Israel. What is Gaza Strip? What is West Bank? What is Golan Heights? What is basically Lake Hulla, Jordan River? Once you are clear about the geography, basically you are able to interpret why the issue is going on. So geography is basic to understanding international relation. It is basic for understanding current affairs. So these things are going to help you in one way or the other. So students were saying it appears to be very bulky. No, it's a part of GS. It's not a part of geography. It's a part of GS. We have not yet started geography optional, but you must know it. Being a student of geography, even a layman student must know about the locations of the country, minerals, mines, lakes, mountains, rivers. It is a basic understanding. So we'll continue tomorrow, same time. That is 7 a.m. and you come prepared with this. Keep on revising, otherwise you will forget everything. We will have multiple tests. I'll hold multiple tests once this world regional is done and we start with the syllabus. I'll start conducting tests of these country wise. Few countries of Europe, then few countries of North America, likewise.